Hey guys, it's Ross going on the Space Coach. So, watched this yesterday. Well, finished watching this yesterday. I watched most of it the day before. The Legend of the Rangers, which was a proposed pilot for a new TV show based in the Babylon 5 universe, which sadly never got picked up. This episode was called To Live and Die in Starlight. So I'll just read what it says about it. From the creator of B5, another dangerous battle against a menacing new enemy. The Rangers, an order of warrior priests, have wandered the darkness between the stars for over 1,000 years, protecting 100 worlds from invasion and destruction. But now a new alien threat appears on the event horizon of the Interstellar Alliance, a force more ancient and powerful than anything previously encountered. The only obstacle in the way of this new race, a single broken-down Ranger ship under the command of David Martell, played by Dylan Neal, whose sole orders were to escort Ambassador Jakar Andreas Katsoulis to an interstellar conference. Alone, barely armed, they must defeat an enemy unlike anything they have seen before. Thoroughly enjoyed this, and it would have made a great TV show. So basically, it starts off this guy and his crew, they're under attack, and instead of doing the whole Ranger thing of we live for the one, we die for the one, they don't die for the one. They've got no weapons, they can't fight, so basically they have to let the bad guys get away. David Martell's in deep disgrace, and he's going to get expelled, except Jakar takes an interest in him, and also these other events that are going on in the background. This ancient, strange race that no one knows who they are, that's attacking weaker members of the Alliance. Escorting a bunch of diplomats to a security conference, when they get attacked, the main ship, the Valen, it gets destroyed, but the diplomats, they get rescued in escape pods, and they're now on the Leandra, which is his ship. And they were heading to this colony on another world where there was evidence of this mysterious race. But before they can get there, one of the alien ships turns up and destroys the colony. The same one that actually destroyed the Valen then destroys the colony. It turns out there's a city that they'd discovered in this archaeological dig, billions of years old. And in that city there's a pyramid, very much like, say, the sacrificial pyramids you see in South America, that style of thing. And at the top there's this glowing light that apparently is some kind of portal to elsewhere, because as Jakar says, every race has got two things in common. One, everyone has an equivalent of Swedish meatballs. Don't argue, it's just there. And the other is legends of an ancient race, evil race that was banished by the forces of the light. You would think that would be Shadows and Vorlons, but this is much, much earlier. So they were banished to this, other space, and now they're trying to get back, and it seems like they may have. But it's very interesting. I wasn't that impressed with the ship design for the new ships, the Hand, as they're called, because, you can't beat the Shadow vessels. That's just such an iconic design. But it was okay enough. Also, the Leandra's firing system, where it's the lady, Sarah Cantrell, I think, from Mars, where she drops down into a tube, it's like Cerebro, like she's floating in the middle, and it's all a representation around her visually, but this is how she fires, like by punching and by kicking, and that's how the weapons fire. Visually it's impressive, but if it had gone to a full season, that would have gotten annoying quite fast. It's a bit too cheesy. But the effects, they were alright for the most part. I thought some of the ship designs were a bit off, not fully finished, but it was a great concept. Things they introduced, like when the ship is commissioned, the Leandra with the crew, they have this ceremony, and they each state their name and their place, and what was the other thing? Name, place, and basically their motivations. So it's like David Martell said his name, Lee's captain. For his place, he said no place in particular, and then he said, I'm looking for something. And the Drazi guy who is on the ship, Turk, he said something, it was like along the lines of I carry heavy burden. or heavy load. But I suspect if it had gone on further, we would have found out probably meant something like he's come a difficult path and he's got lots of issues that he's had to deal with. He's had a difficult life. That's how I thought it would be. It was all those sorts of things that we would have found out, you know, but we didn't find out, unfortunately. And the Nan lady, she says, I understand no one else would have me. And I really liked her character. She was great. Nans are always great. But it was a good show, and it was a real shame it never got picked up. But it was up against, I think, Monday Night Football or something, back whenever it was. So it must be at least 15 years ago now. So it didn't stand a chance, unfortunately. Not just for the ratings, but the time slot that it had. So it never got picked up, and it is a real shame. And Jakar in it, he is really good as well, because he always is. What's this? One of the Minbari who wants them to help with this investigation of this alien race says you should consider any closed door an open one. And then later, when he comes into the council, the Grey Council, when they're about to pass judgment on David Martell, initially he says, you said I should consider any closed door an open one, so I did. And there was loads of great writing in it as well. Quite sharp, the dialogue, because obviously JMS has a lot of practice at this point. So it was all very natural. There wasn't really any particularly cheesy lines, like say, or some of the stuff that was a little bit stilted in the early episodes of, say, season 1 or in The Gathering. But yes, thoroughly enjoyable. A real shame it never got picked up. Who knows, if there's a reboot of Babylon 5, this is a storyline that might come into play. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for what topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.